Hello, this is Rob Barlow from Unleash the Potential. This is my YouTube and podcast, episode 2. And it's where we talk to business leaders, owners, and technologists and, thought leaders about what they're doing and their missions to unleash the potential in others or through their business. And today we have Jackie from iHeartMyWork. It's she's a great executive coach, and so I'd like to say thank you, Jackie, for joining me during this unprecedented time, and perhaps you can tell me about your business and what kind of clients you have, and what are you exactly coaching them on.
Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about coaching and sharing with people what coaching is. And so my clients are senior leaders in organizations and their teams. And the approach I take with coaching is, I call it inside out coaching. And so it's really about helping people get in touch with their unique strengths and values in order to achieve the goals on the outside that they're looking for. And so it's really an inside journey that helps us transform so that we can break through some of those barriers that might be getting in our way today.
So what are your clients? What kind of organizations do they come from? Where, are they small business, large business? Just can you share a little light on that?
Yeah, so my clients generally are medium to small size businesses, and or I've worked in organizations, large organizations. I've worked with specific leaders and their teams. And generally, they come to me because they are looking normally for development of their leaders and having their team work better together. A lot of times in teams, especially when you bring in new members of teams, sometimes a team gets stuck and they're not able to be in flow with each other. And so I in those cases, I work with the team, and we also work individually with the leaders to help them establish what their goals are so that they can help be more effective individually and be more effective in the team.
So how did you get to the point where you decided to be an executive coach?
So my background is HR. I've had about 20 years in the field of HR in a company, in a large company, and also in a consulting capacity with companies. And my passion has always been people. My passion has always been helping leaders. But in those capacities, it was more consulting, more in a telling role, more as the expert. And so I got to a point in my career where I wasn't feeling as fulfilled. I wasn't feeling that I was really making the impacts that I wanted to. And so I went to take a coaching program, and I was transformed because I didn't truly understand what coaching really was, that it was really about unlocking the potential within, as opposed to, really just sort of telling people what to do. And so it became my passion that for me to really shift my business into coaching in the space where I could really help people not only get the results they want, but to feel happier, to feel more joyful, to feel more aligned to their values.
So I guess in this time that we're in, there must be quite a demand because people are at home. You can feel very disconnected from who you're working with. Engagement would be very hard to keep. Culture would be hard to keep. Have you seen any kind of uptick or requests that based on this time?
Yeah, certainly my existing clients are making a good use of their time with me, and also having new inquiries around coaching to help with leaders and their teams right now. The biggest thing I'm seeing is helping them stay balanced, and it's something in coaching that I work with leaders on a lot, is that inner game. We knowingly or not, when we are in an uncertain time, when we're feeling stress, we're actually, going into survival mode in one way or another, and our brain and cortisol starts pumping through our body. And so a lot of the work I've been doing is helping leaders with that balance, so that they can get into that space where they can make good decisions, where they can take good care of themselves and lean into their team to be, very present with the team, to, to make decisions where there's no playbook. And that takes some courage.
I guess so. So I guess what you're really saying is you're trying to get people to be more vulnerable to others by being who they really are.
That's a big piece of it. It absolutely is. And I've been talking a lot. Part of it, of being vulnerable, is actually just showing your human side, right? It doesn't mean you have to, tell everybody, everything that's happened to you in your life. But it really means that just allowing people to see that you're human, that you have feelings, that you don't have all the answers. And when we can get into that space with people, people feel safe, right? They feel safe to be themselves. They feel safe to ask questions they might not want normally ask. And they feel seen and heard. And so by being able to be that way with somebody, it really helps them be able to balance so that they can be effective in their work. A lot of people are managing, their workspaces at home. And so it's not just about the workload, it's about also the kids and the homework, or sick family members, or whatever it is. And so there's a lot going on for people, and the ability to just be very present is so important.
So during this time, people are under a lot of stress, like you say. We do get to see people, in their natural environments. You get to see right inside their house. Is there anything that you can look back into that you've experienced in the past that's helping you today with your clients?
Interesting. My coach journey has all been about taking off some layers. And so I'm, quite candid in my LinkedIn posts. I'm getting more comfortable with taking off some layers too. And I think when you connect with yourself and you learn how to do that, and I've done this work, it allows me to be able to be in that space with my clients. It's the thing I work on with my clients, is to be very present, to not allow my own feelings and thoughts and emotions to come into that session, so that it's really about them. And I think that's been important for me too. And my mentor coach said to me, as I was going through my training, you can't take people to places that you're not willing to go. And so it just kind of hit me when he said that to me. And I think that's the same as a leader. You can't take people, your team, you can't take them any place that you're not willing to go. So I think doing that work, and I think the leaders that are doing well right now are leaders that have done some of that introspective type of work.
Right. Going to the other side, trying to understand what the other person they're talking to, how they're going to perceive things. And yeah, that's very, very interesting, specifically now. So do you have, it's like a case or a client that you've worked with in the past that you really have made a difference with, and it's something you're proud of at the moment?
Well, the one that comes to mind is a client that I talked to today. And this is a client who I started working with back in the fall, who was a part of a team. And he was very skeptical. He said, I'm going to do this coaching because I know it's my boss asked me to, and it's important, but I don't really think I need it. I've been leading a long time. I've led in large organizations, and I'm in a leadership program right now. And so I just stayed in curiosity with him and said, okay, well, if we can see how, it goes. And the first few sessions were quite quiet. it was really difficult to, we were trying to establish what we wanted to talk about in the session, and fast forward to today and the last few weeks, I've been working with him quite a bit over the last 8 weeks. And he said today that, he wouldn't have believed when we first started that we would be in this place today. He has really become reflective in who he is as a leader. He started to understand this side of him at work that would close up, that would not be open, that wouldn't share any of his personal life, to this leader who is understanding how important connection is in the workplace and how he can show up for his team, and also opening up some areas where he still wants to grow. And so it was, that's why I coach, because when somebody sees what they didn't see before, it is so rewarding. And it's so wonderful to hear somebody who has a breakthrough and is enjoying their life more, right? Not just their work, but their life. And where that comes together, I think that is such a great place to be.
That does sound very rewarding. So if an executive or leader, doesn't have to be an executive, is looking for a coach, which I highly recommend. I've had one for 20 years. And I've had many coaches in different forms. So do you have any advice for others who are looking for a coach? What to look for?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I would say, it seems in the world, there's lots of people that say that they're coaches. And so I would just, do your research around what kind of coach they are. If you're looking for transformation type of coach where you're finding that you want to get to the next level, there's areas that you're scared to go to, or you could use some help developing. I would look for somebody that would be certified through some sort of regulatory body, like the ICF is the body that I am certified through. At the very least, you want somebody who is going to have an approach where there's deep listening, where there's uncovering of, underneath the values, the goal, why those goals are important, and that kind of co-create with you. So that's what I would say. And that somebody that you can talk to, somebody that fits with you, because one thing I always do is have a virtual coffee before I meet, engage in an engagement with a client, because there has to be a fit there. So those are the kinds of things I would do your research to find out what kind of coaching they do. Are they certified by some sort of professional body, and to meet them and decide for yourself if they're a good coach.
Good. So I have two more questions. So today I hear a lot about leadership, and very progressive organizations are looking for a certain type of leader. Can you kind of let people know what type of leader adds the most value in today's world?
That's another good question. I think that, the type of leader that would add the most value is one that's a learner, one that doesn't have all the answers, that is continuously reflective, that creates a safe space for people to grow and learn. When you become a leader, it's no longer about you. It's about the team. So it's about somebody that can bring the best out in people, that's coach-like, that's committed to high standards and results. It doesn't mean because you care about people that you don't care about results and you can't get results. All of that's important, but they really need to be agile. They need to be able to access their inner self, their inner strengths, in order to be able to think about what has to happen and how to bring the team together in those moments. So I think it's a mixture of things, but I think learning would be the key ingredient.
Yeah, so I guess good listening is part of that whole thing. And
it is. And I'll tell you this, that until I took my coach training, I did not know how to listen. There is a real art to being a great listener, and it's not just the words. It's things like what's not being said. It's things like noticing energy, or noticing incongruencies in language. It's really quite fascinating.
Yeah, I can imagine, fine tuning. I know for myself, fine tuning my political awareness is all part of listening, which is very difficult for some people, me including.
Yeah.
So the second question is, what type of mindset can you tell others that they really need to have going forward, specifically after this, as we go? An entrepreneur, he's running his company, he's worried about, he or she is worried about, cash flow and the whole bit and where to go next.
I think I would say curiosity. I would say, that growth mindset, that learner mindset, and being curious. Because when we are fearful, we tend to go to that judger side of us that, that doesn't serve us, right? When we go there, we feel like, it's just like the death of a spiral, okay, this isn't going to work, and it's doom and gloom, and it just drives us in deeper, and it's not helpful. And so if we can stay curious about, how we're thinking about things, how am I looking at this now? What is contributing to this? How do I feel about this? Curious, what this could look like. That helps keep our energy high. It keeps us in learner, and it serves us well to help move us forward.
Wow, that's great. That's great advice. So others will want to reach out to you, I'm sure, after watching this. And what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
So thank you. You can drop me an email. My email is Jackie, Jackie, at iheartmywork.ca. My website, you can check that out, is www.iheartmywork.ca. And I am also on LinkedIn. So if you are on LinkedIn and you want to connect with me, happy to chat. I hang out there a lot. I'd be happy to talk to you. So
Great. So this wraps up our interview, and I'm definitely walking away with, a lot of things that make me think that, executive coaching is very important for us all to unleash our own potential. And thank you very much. And for others, I'm always looking for great interview content and people to interview that are changing the way we do things. And you can reach me at Rob Barlow. It's ROBBARLO at gmail.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, and you can subscribe, and I will have weekly episodes. So thank you very much. And I would just like to say, Jackie, you're doing a great job, and be safe.
thanks so much. It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining me today for episode 2 of Unleash the Potential. Please feel free to reach out to Jackie at iheartmywork.ca if you want to discuss working with her as your coach. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and join me next week for episode 3. Thank you.